when the first of the 3 UN drugs treaties came into force, the drugs phenomenon was an issue of individual conscience and behavior of minor importance to society. Since then, it has become a social issue that is growing in scope and dimension. Global harm caused by current drug policy is well documented, and many consider it to be larger than the harm related to the substances themselves. This is insufficiently understood by policymakers, mass media, and consequently by the general public. The public discussion has been dominated by emotions and moral judgments rather than by rational approach. People from different countries seem to have come to the similar conclusion that drug prohibition should be questioned. In the spring of 2003, some of them came together to put pressure on European governments to end drug prohibition.
Porque no se ha podido ni querido hacer una evaluación sobre el número de personas que murieron como consecuencia no de la droga, sino como consecuencia de la prohibición en materia de droga.
Queste semplici osservazioni consentono di dire che anche nel quadro delle convenzioni esistenti esistono spazi per l'autonomia degli Stati.
Comme la militarisation de la ville ont été organisées au fil des semaines, y compris des centaines de perquisitions.
So what I wanted to do was build a structure within which drug users affected by hepatitis and/or AIDS or any other conditions of injection drug use could fight for their health and human rights. So that is what I did.
The International Coalition of NGOs for Just and Effective Drug Policies and its European section, Encod, was created to strengthen the voice of citizens who are currently stigmatized and criminalized for producing or consuming substances. The members of this NGO coalition believe that drug policies should be based on common sense and human rights. The second event organized in the NGO campaign was an alternative conference in Vienna in relation to the meeting of the UN Commission on Narcotic Drugs. People from all over Europe participated.
Drugs are the suitable enemy, are the perfect enemy, a useful tool for justifying continuous repression. Repression of individual people and their way, their freedom to choose the way they want to live, to develop, to grow, to celebrate, to cure themselves. The forces behind drug prohibition are the forces that make use of fear as a tool to convince people. The fear of drugs dominates the basic message they tell. They use fear as a weapon.
Junkie Union, it's called the MDHG, Junkie Bond in Dutch, and we represent them, we represent all junkies from Holland, here in Austria. The minority of junkies that are on the street, that are visible, making the problems, that's just a small percentage of maybe 1/4 of all of them. And that's the ones that the media jumps on. They stigmatize us.
The reality is this little part of humanity decide to organize the world for themselves and use drug prohibition.
Prohibition as a tool of domination. And before this agreement of the Bretton Woods, I would say that US has already started its domination over the other country with the drug policy and the drug prohibition.
Put in jail who have never smoked a joint in their lives. That's what the drug war in America is doing to people. People lose their homes, their families are thrown out on the street, they put a freeze on their bank accounts, So, say the father goes to jail and he leaves behind a wife and 2 children. They take the house. Immediately, those children and the wife are out on the street. If the wife happens to get caught up in the conspiracy as well, the kids go to foster homes, they'll never see their parents again, they'll probably never see each other again. What the demonstration rally is about, we'll be out of our jobs, judges, dealers, cops. If it wasn't for the war on drugs, there would be people with no jobs.
See how the prisoners population is made in US. Maybe in the few years, the coming years, our American friends will really need our help.
This is the heater, and in here is the marijuana. You see, it's green also. It's not burning. It's 12-volt heater. When you inhalate it, the aircon above, go downstairs.
Can I try?
Take a TSC.
You want to try?
Of course. Of course, brother. Because it's for peace. Try it. Inhalate it.
Ici on dit ça, là ici on dit ça. Et je voulais comparer la situation par rapport à...
You don't need I know people 70 years old, they use morphine. Now they stop morphine, they're using marijuana. And now they're starting to lust for life, you know. Otherwise they are the day now, hey, think.
Fine, no? And anybody who wants to say or has to say something should please do this now. The word's on you.
Perhaps we could make festivals out of what we now call seminars, and that it can be a combination of seminars, intellectual and physical experience of where it's all about.
We're trying to contaminate the social forum with anti-prohibitionistic issues, but I think that certain political forces have some moral problems in accepting totally the anti-prohibitionistic position. So
legalization of illegal drugs into capitalism, or if this is not possible and legalization of illegal drugs and drug use would bring capitalism to implode or explode.
I shot up for 18 years, and I worked every fucking day that I used. I've always worked until I came to Holland. Now my health is really bad. They don't want me to work anymore. But if it had been my choice, I'd still be working.
From 8th to 18th of April, government delegations from all over the world met in Vienna to review the progress at the halfway point of the strategy against drugs that was formulated in New York in 1998.
So when the Ungas on drugs in 1998 took place under the slogan, "A drug-free world, we can do it," making the year 2008 as a deadline for this objective, it was one which very, very few people, even among those that were in the room signing the declaration, could take seriously.
So they need illegal spaces. They can justify the social control. Everything you do against narco traffic is good, because it's prohibition is not only a law, it's also a moral taboo and also a war. There are a lot of affective elements. And people, a lot of people don't think too much about drugs. They just feel.
regularly illicit or illicit drugs, they are capable of organizing events like this and events in the European Parliament and a demonstration, a cultural event, and they are capable of showing themselves, of establishing all the things that need to be done to make it possible.
In the middle of the Danube bridge, we will be there around 6 to spread all the balloons.
The International NGO Coalition of NGOs for Just and Effective Drug Policies consists of 170 organizations from 37 countries. They represent a broad range of citizens of the planet.
Abbiamo cacciato fino a Arlacchi e abbiamo battuto il suo piano criminale. Oggi c'è Antonio Costa che si...
Andrea Efthimo Mordaunt was one of the few anti-prohibitionist representatives at the UN meeting.
Is the 5-year follow-up to the 1998 meeting, which declared the slogan, we are, going for a drug-free world, and they had aimed to eradicate most of the coca and opium plants and poppies in the world by 2008. So they're probably in cloud cuckoo land.
Who hides himself behind the cops because he's a chicken. He's afraid of us.
Reformers, political activists, if you like, or user activists, to try and get in there and make some kind of an impact.
Il responsabile dell'agenzia dell'ONU che vuole fare il test della pipì a tutti gli studenti italiani. Venga qui a dircelo e gli risponderemo coi pannoloni. We will be waiting for Costa right here. She's the one that wants us to make a peace test for everyone here and for all the students. We want her to come here and tell it so we can answer our way. Changer de politique.
During the UN meeting in Vienna, government delegations reaffirmed the commitment to fight against drugs. There was no recognition of the fact that since 1998, drug production and consumption has continued to increase.
Do I think that the US policy is malicious? I think that it's ignorant. I think it's fear-driven. I think it's about zero tolerance. And there is a part of me, certainly, that thinks it's evil and malicious. Certainly the outcomes are so tragic as to not bear thinking about.
The day after, Encod called on an early meeting to discuss the forthcoming strategy.
We should respect that everybody has their own different situations, and they're going to do what they're going to do anyway, regardless of what anybody says. As we see already in Europe, with the development of legalization models with cannabis, and of course with the AIDS prevention urgency.
And it would be also a little bit nonsense to try to change one global model like prohibition with another global model, no? It wouldn't work. The different proposals is at least to collect the different proposals among the organizations and to document them and to try to elaborate a common discourse.
I would like to promote the cause because I feel that every person can do with himself whatever he wants as long as he doesn't bother someone else.
most observers, the outcome of the UN summit was extremely disappointing. But Encod will continue its campaign to encourage governments to come forward and take the lead for a realistic approach to drugs. For more information, please contact us.